Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. This is the lockdown Q&A. You know that every Sunday, all I do is I just say, hit me up with whatever you want to ask me, and I will try and answer it as best as I possibly can. I hope you guys have had a good day. I've actually had you know what? I've done nothing today. It's been like a 100% lazy day because yesterday I had such a busy day. I did about 5 live streams, you know, like 3 on air, then I did a couple with some other channels, and today I was knackered. And I was like, you know what? Woke up this morning, done the live stream, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm lying in. And I've just been chilling out, and it has been beautiful. Beautiful. But I am back here tonight for the Sunday Q&A. It's Sunday. And I throw the floor up to you guys, and you can ask me whatever you want to ask me. It can be Arsenal related. It can be football in general. It can be anything. Keep it clean. I will answer it, right? We are live today on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, of course, Periscope, Twitter, and also welcome everybody on Twitch. So hit me up with those questions. And I am here, and I am able, and I am ready to answer those questions. So let's just start going through some of the comments. Which one am I going to start off with? Right, let's go with this one. David says, apparently Arsenal have pulled out of contract talks with Aubameyang. That is being reported in some places, but we do not know yet if that's true. Of course, you saw the tweet that came from Aubameyang's dad, his Instagram story, where he encourages his son to sign. I've already said that the thing that worries me is Arsenal. I think Aubameyang will sign. His options are limited, I've been saying for a long time, because of the coronavirus crisis. And I just got a feeling that he wants to sign, but do Arsenal want him to sign, or do they want to cash in on him? Right? That is what we're going to find out. But at the moment, I think everything that's been put out there is all speculation. Arsenal pulled contract talks. Nobody really knows at the moment, and that is the truth of the matter. So let's hope that's not true. Joseph says, hi, Robbie. Keep up all the good work. Would you sell Xhaka? Ooh. Do you know what, right? And I was doing something on another channel last night, and we were talking about Xhaka. And I was saying that Granit Xhaka, he's surprised me. I mean, before Arteta came in, I'd have been like, yeah, definitely. Guy's got to go. What he did, throwing down the armband and that, he's not played well for a long time. When Arteta came in, he looked a different player. He was solid. He was organised. He was, nothing spectacular, but he was just starting to sort of show me the type of player that I want to see from him. Just a solid player, physical, good passing range, does simple things, doesn't make mistakes. And he was doing that. So I don't know, man. I'm not against keeping him no more. I am not against keeping him. So I'd say, especially with this coronavirus crisis, unless we get somebody better like a Partey or somebody, no, I'd be holding on to him. I really think he's stepped up. I really do. AG22 says, Don Robbie, Partey or Upamecano? Only one. That's a tough question. Oh wow, that's that. Upamecano. I'd say Upamecano, Saliba. Defensive partnership, that would excite me. Although a Partey would be good, but we could survive with, even though I think we do need a DM, I think we could survive with Torreira, but just get some Torreira playing lots of games. That is a great question. I really like that one. That had me thinking. It really did have me thinking, that one. Joey AFC Lance says, Robbie, do a video of an Arsenal shirt collection. I bet you've bought a few over the years. I've bought a few over the years. I haven't bought all of them. I went for a little period where I was like, I ain't buying no kits for now, man, because we kept selling our players all the time. But I have got a fair few. You know what? The other day I was in my garage and I found about 5 shirts. And I was like, oh, what are they doing in here? You know what I mean? So I've got a fair few. Maybe that might be a video. So I might have to look into that. Good suggestion. Thank you very much for that. Mohammed says, if I may ask, would you sell Lacazette? His goal scoring is not impressive. Giroud had a better goal scoring. I wouldn't sell Lacazette. I've said this a lot. I like Lacazette. I like the work he does off the ball. He was our player of the season last year. I think he's had a bit of an indifferent season, but I still believe in him. And I like him. And I think he's a good team player. I think I would keep Lacazette. But I want to keep Aubameyang too. Chris says, what is your ideal midfield three for next season? Realistic signings. Partey, Xhaka or Torreira, and well, it's going to be Ozil, isn't it? Because we're not going to be able to sell Ozil, so it's going to have to be Ozil for one more season until then. At the end of that season, when he goes, we bring in somebody who takes over from him. There's going to be a goal scorer and a creator. I think we really do lack that. This guy says, Bellerin or Tierney? Well, they play in different positions, don't they? Bellerin's on the right, Tierney's on the left, so you can't really be, picking between one or, the other. So no. Right, so Alexander says, you are Jamaican, right? Have you ever been to Jamaica before? And do you follow any football team in Jamaica or national team? And what is your favorite Jamaican football player? Is it Raheem Sterling? Well, I have been to Jamaica many times. I was born in England. I was born in London, but my parents were Jamaican, proud Jamaicans. Do I follow the Jamaican national team? Yeah, I was saying, was it yesterday on one of the earlier shows or on one of the shows I was saying how I went to watch Jamaica when in the 1998 World Cup in France. I went there. I went to Jamaica versus Argentina. I followed Jamaica then. And my favorite Jamaican player, you know what? Jamaica used to have a player called Walter Boyd, right? Who actually, I don't know if he still holds it, but he got signed by Swansea and he held a record for being the fastest player ever to be sent off in typical Jamaican style. He came onto the pitch, somebody kicked him or so, and he just turned around and bang, and he got sent off straight away. Literally didn't even kick a ball. But I used to like Walter Boyd. Used to be so skillful. A guy that probably if he came up over here in the UK, he would have made it. He had so much ability. And do I follow a team in Jamaica? Not really, but I've been to a couple of games in Jamaica and watched a couple of teams in Kingston. And you know what? It's very physical. The fans are very passionate, right? And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it because there's so much. It's a different vibe over there. You've got like music going on, and they're serious with their football over there. They are serious in it. So thanks for that question there, Alexander. Amir says, I'm an Arsenal fan from Dubai that got you the truffle fries. Glad you enjoyed it. Come back soon. Listen, I remember that. Man. That was... Oh. Thank you very much for that, Amir, man. Respect. I remember that. Jamie Clark says, hi, Robbie. What's your favourite goal against Tottenham? Ooh. And remember, it would have been the North London derby today. Favourite goal against Tottenham. Do you know what? I remember a few seasons ago when I think it was it's the Henry goal when Henry scored and then went and just done that celebration, which had been turned into a statue right in front of the Tottenham fans. But I also remember Thomas Rosicky hitting a blinding sort of shot from like we was behind the goal, the other end from the right at the start of the game. Brilliant when we beat Tottenham at White Hart Lane. And I'll tell you another goal that was one of my favourites in the North London derby, right? Was that goal Flamini scored when the ball just dropped out of the sky, right? And he just volleyed it. And Flamini's a guy that, like, you didn't see that guy score many goals. That was brilliant. That was a brilliant moment. I remember I got hit in the head. That was the night when all the Arsenal fans were pulling all well, not all of the Arsenal fans, but some Arsenal fans pulled off some of the hoardings at White Hart Lane and were chucking it down below, which is a very stupid thing to do. And one of them hit me right in the head, cut me. I remember that night. Listen, I was so happy with the win that even that didn't bother me. Tom says, stop ducking the forfeit, Robbie. Stop ducking the forfeit. Crucial, shall I say. He says, there's no better time than now in lockdown, you know. Troops run the thing. What forfeit? I've done all my forfeits, man. It's Troops that's ducking the forfeits. I've done all mine. I just had like one lined up for him, and then the whole lockdown thing came because he's due a forfeit, and I ain't forgotten. Don't worry about that. Daniel says, what do you think about Lacazette and Lamar swap, allowing Aubameyang to play up front, Saka at left back? I'm not too sure about Kieran. We've got to give Tierney time. Why would you swap Lacazette for Lamar? He's flopped at Atletico. I'm not to say that he couldn't go somewhere else and improve, but nah, keep hold of Lacazette. If we're going to swap somebody with, you know, Atletico, well, then let's swap, you know, Partey and Lacazette. You know, not Lamar. Mr. Rotten says, who do you think's been the most improved player? Or the player that's improved the most this season? Well, it's got to be Saka, isn't it? I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, to just come in out of the youth team and do what he's done this season, he's been unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You've got to say as well, Mustafi, a guy that I thought was... And he came in under Arteta and was playing really, really well. He done brilliantly as well. Rashid says, I have no confidence in the board. We always sell our best players. Arsenal is run as a business, and the board will want to cash in on Aubameyang, 50 mil, especially with the coronavirus giving them an excuse. Can't say I disagree completely with all that. You know what I mean? I don't disagree. Sorry, I don't disagree with that. He's got a great point. Great point there. Javert says, Robbie, all this talk about possible signings, but who do you think we will likely to see leave? Well, I think there's a lot of players that Arsenal would like to see leave. Mustafi's, who's on a lot of money, even though he's improved a lot, he's on big wages. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody like Kolasinac leave. Again, on big wages, hasn't really lived up to his billing. Who else? They'd love Ozil to leave, but he's not leaving. But they'd love Ozil to leave. El Neni. These sort of guys, you know, they'd love to see him leave. Eric here's with a super chat. I can't get it live up here at the moment, but Eric with a super chat, he says, Robbie, would you have Jota or Jimenez at Arsenal? The two guys, of course, from Wolves. Of course I would. They're two very, very good players. This guy says, I see AFTV got battered in the quiz last night. That was last week. Claude, who was on there, was drunk. So, you know. Alt says, are you going to react to KSI's new song? I haven't actually heard it, actually. I have to give it a listen. I saw he did a video the other day where he was reacting to people reacting to his song. But I haven't, to be honest, if I'm 100% honest, I haven't actually heard it yet, so I can't react to it if I haven't heard it. The boss says, Robbie, a prime Alexis or a prime Hazard? Whew. That's a hard one as well. You've got to say Hazard did it more consistently over the years in the Premier League. But then the guy's talking about the prime, at their prime. At their prime, I go Alexis. I mean, Alexis was like, he scored more goals than, I don't know, but Hazard, that's a tough one, you know. That's a tough one. I have to sit on the fence here and say, in their prime, even, because both of them are quality players. If you're talking about in the Premier League as a whole, you've got to go Hazard. He was consistently good. Consistently good. There was one little time he fell off a bit when Mourinho was on his case, but he was consistently good. But in their prime, I'd say it's probably even in their prime. Because remember, Alexis did like lift Chile to win even the Copa America and things like that. So it's a tough one. This guy says, is everyone apart from Liverpool fans want to start fresh from August? Listen, no, actually, I want the league to finish. I want the league to finish, you know. I really, really want the league to finish. So I don't think it's just Liverpool fans. I think there's a lot of fans who would like to see the league finish. Probably, maybe not Villa fans, maybe not Norwich fans, especially after they've seen what's happened over in the Dutch league, where they just cancelled the league and there was no relegation. But I think the majority of teams would like to see the league finished. Phileas says, Robbie, do you think Arsenal will qualify for the Champions League this season? It's very difficult. Probably, I could see that Arsenal could get into 5th place, and if there was, you know, the possibility that Manchester City are chucked out because of breaking the rules, we could get through that way. I think top 4 would be a really, really big ask, but not impossible ask, but a big ask. Really Schooner says, my contract negotiations, the longest was probably 3 meetings. They were normally done inside 1 or 2 meetings. They were always long contracts. That's Gary Neville. Why can't Arsenal be disorganized? Well, that is, you know, the $1 million question, mate. The $1 million question. Invincibles 04 says, Liam Brady scored a corker against Spurs in the 78-79 season. Liam Brady was some player. I actually, just before the lockdown, saw him, said hello to him. He was at the Emirates going into a game. Still goes to watch Arsenal a lot. And definitely a legendary player. Legendary player. Alexander says, hi, Robbie. Were you in the game at Old Trafford when we won 8-2 against you? It would have been fun to watch AFTV those days. Love your content. Keep up the great work. I've said this before. I wasn't actually at that game. I had to go to a family function. And I was at that family function. And as they were telling me that, because one of the things they said is that, oh, Robbie, you always watching football. You've got to stay away from it. And I agreed to do that. But then they kept feeding me all these scores and saying, oh, you're 3-1 down, you're 4. And I was going, what? I thought they were joking. And when I saw that 8-2, man, honestly, I've never been so embarrassed in my whole life. For about the next 2-3 weeks, I took banter every single day at work. And, it was terrible. Awful. Thank God I weren't at that game, man. I can only, you know, I was at the 6-0 against Chelsea. That was nearly as bad. I was at the 5-2s, obviously. But, Rickin says, Robbie, answer this. Your son can sign a professional. We've been asked this one before. Can sign a professional contract at Spurs and have to stay there for life. For life. As a main first-team player, or he never makes it in football. What are you saying? I'd want him to sign the contract at Spurs, because if he's working all of his career, or working, you know, coming from youth level all the way up to professional level, and he gets a chance to sign for a Premier League team, he has to take it. I wouldn't want him to sign for Spurs. I've said this before. I wouldn't want him, but I couldn't impose that on my son because it's his career. And I think everybody, you know, people might say, no, there's no way I'd let him sign for Spurs and that. But I think if that was put in front of you, it'd be a different thing, because it's not you. It would be different if it's me, but it's your child and it's his professional career. So, you know, Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole? That's a hard one. J. Cole, I like Kendrick Lamar as well. Kendrick Lamar edges it, I think. Kendrick Lamar edges it. Martinelli or Saka, keep only one. What's the matter with you? What's with these tough questions, man? It'd have to be Martinelli for the goals, I think, yeah. Reluctantly. YouTube TND says, thoughts on Ziyech at Chelsea, at Arsenal. I would have liked to have seen Ziyech at Arsenal. I think that would have been a good signing. That's a very good signing by Chelsea. And Chelsea actually, when you think about it, they might be one of the few clubs that do have a bit of money to spend in the transfer market, because they didn't spend anything last year. Remember, because they had the transfer ban. So, and they've already made that signing of Ziyech, which was a very smart signing. It's a good signing. It's a very good signing. He's a very good player. Tammy Abraham or Martial? Oh, come on, it's Martial all day long. Tammy Abraham's done really well this season. I think he doesn't get the ratings that he deserves as a young English player. But Martial's more talented, you have to say. Makaleli or Kante? That's a good Makaleli. Has to be Makaleli, because Makaleli as well was one of the first guys that he almost like invented that position, that holding midfielder that just cleans up in front of the back four, gets the ball to the other players that can. He was brilliant at it. He was everywhere, Makaleli. And I think if anything, you could say Kante sort of, evolved from Makaleli. I mean, he's copied what Makaleli did, so it's got to be Makaleli. He was brilliant. Hassam says, Robbie, if you could change one thing about AFTV, what would it be? Oh, well, listen, we're not perfect. There's a lot of things we could change. What would I change? It'd be great to interview more players and stuff like that, do more stuff with players and that, but that's beyond our control. But that'd be a great thing to do. That's a hard one. You know what I mean? But we're not perfect. There's a lot of things we can change, and we're always looking to change things and to improve things. So that's an ever evolving question for me. Right. Don Roberto, we know your love life is Arsenal, but do you have mistresses in the Bundesliga, Serie A, or La Liga? No. When he says mistresses, does he mean like teams that I like in those leagues? Teams that I like in those leagues, I kind of like Dortmund. You know what I mean? I like what they stand for. I like the fact that they're not always the biggest spenders, but they're always a very exciting team to watch in the Bundesliga. In Serie A, don't really have a favorite team in Serie A. Yeah, or La Liga, really. I don't really have a favorite team in those two leagues, but I do like Dortmund. I do like what they stand for, and their fans, and I mean, I've got a little soft spot for Dortmund. But listen, there's only one team for me: Zidane or Henry. God. Henry, of course, was our legend at Arsenal, but Zinedine Zidane was, one of the absolute. I mean, Henry's one of the world greats, but Zidane, he won. He was a captain when he won the. I mean, that headbutt and stuff. He was such a unbelievably talented player as well. So you've got to go for Zidane, but Henry's right up there, Roger says, Robbie, what do you think of Shanghai's food and having £1 million or Arsenal wins the Champions League? Shanghai food's nice, by the way. I enjoyed the food in Shanghai. I remember me and Tao was out there stuffing our face. You got to have your Google Translate turned on because, there was some unusual foods. But China, they've got some beautiful food over there. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed Shanghai. It was a lovely place. £1 million or Arsenal win the Champions League. You know what? £1 million is a lot of money as for your family and stuff like that. That's a lot of money, man. £1 million. You'd have to take the 1 million, wouldn't you? Come on. I mean, £1 million, you can set all your family up and stuff like that. You'd have to take the million. Much as I want to see Arsenal win the Champions League, take the million, and then hopefully Arsenal win it again in the future. Let's get some more in. Jake Connolly says, your favorite player in the last decade, or in the last decade, as in You know, Alexis, I loved watching him play, man. He was so exciting. That's why I was so gutted when he left and the manner in which he left. You know what I mean? Because he was an unbelievable player. Abk says, Don Robbie, will you visit Qatar for the 2022 World Cup? Definitely. You know, if the virus allows us to, but definitely I'm looking forward to going to that World Cup. I was chatting to some people from Qatar not too long before the lockdown and, you know, making arrangements already. Definitely want to go to that. Definitely want to see what Qatar's got to offer for that World Cup. I went to the last World Cup in Russia, and that was good. And I really want to see, you know, a World Cup in the Middle East is going to be really interesting to see how that, you know, we all know it's going to be well organized. We all know the stadium is going to be brilliant, but it's just going to be, you know, interesting to see how they handle it. All right, yeah. Of course, I'd swap Aubameyang for Mbappe. Mbappe's like, you know, one of the best strikers in the world, and he's very, very young. So of course, Xhaka or Mustafi, Xhaka. Sophie Rose or Mia Khalifa. I've got to go Sophie, man. I've got to go Sophie. She's a good friend, and you know, so I've got to go. I'm gonna big up Sophie, right? But it's close. It's close. Let's get some. There's a few people here that asked the same sort of questions, so I'm trying to get different ones. DT or Troops? Oh, bloody hell. That's a hard choice to make. They're both annoying. We get rid of both of them. Declan says Donny van der Beek, who is Bergkamp's son-in-law, to replace Ozil. Donny van der Beek is a very good player. I haven't seen his goals, how many goals he scored, because I really want a guy that's going to come in and score a lot of goals from that midfield area. I want like a guy that comes in and gives us 10 goals from midfield. And that's one thing that we have been lacking for so long. And I really want to see a player that comes in and does that. And I'm not sure if Donny van der Beek is a sort of big goal-scoring midfielder. Ship with a super chat here. Sorry, I can't get up on the screen. I don't know what's happening in my super chats. They're not coming up. But Ship says, favourite Arsenal goal you've seen live? I think I've got to go for that Jack Wilshere one against Norwich. That was just something unbelievable. That move, it was building up, and you're just saying, I'm just praying that there's going to be an end product to this. And it was unbelievable. The Giroud goal as well. When that build up to that one, I mean, Henry, literally every goal he scored every week was a goal of the season. I mean, he was brilliant. But that Jack Wilshere goal, that was just a thing of beauty. That was Arsenal summed up, that goal. It really was. Robert says, good evening, Robbie, right? Would you rather let Aubameyang go to Chelsea and Manchester United for 50 million or to a club abroad or free? I'd rather him going free, man. We can't be giving Chelsea and Manchester United Aubameyang. I'd rather see him go for free. Honestly, that's the truth. You know what I mean? I'm done with this. Too many. Always giving away our players, man. I've had enough of it. Gary Newman or the Human League? Not really my genre. You know what? Both of those two used to be two very good groups. Gary Newman was before, wasn't he? Yeah, Gary Newman, you know. Couple of classics there, you know. Funniest fan cam from AFTV. Do you know what? When Ty said about the rain, I mean, honestly, that I couldn't believe it. And I still, every time I see that video, I still crack up laughing because I'm like, the rain. You know, that was a classic. That was an absolute classic. Well, that one's sort of similar to what I just did. So is that one. Most overrated Arsenal player ever. Ozil's got him in for a shout, you know. And it's not to say that he's been terrible since he's been at Arsenal, but when he came in, we thought, this is it. This is the signing that, you know, and whilst he's been good, he's also been very indifferent. And I think for who he is, for what he can do, for the ability he has, he's not lived up to that. He's not lived up to that. Fans love him and he gets a big pass sometimes. But if I'm being 100% honest, I don't think he's lived up to what I thought he was going to do when he first came in at Arsenal. I thought he was going to be a game changer. And he hasn't. He hasn't been a game changer. So it would have to be Ozil. Best in the World One with Super Chat says, Robbie, do you think the fan channel could work for teams in the NBA? I believe Stan is looking for one for his Denver Nuggets. Yeah, he wants to get slagged off, does he? Of course it could. It can work. It can work for every sport. It can. It can work for every sport. So 100% it can do. Robbie Play said, would you sign Kai Havertz to replace Ozil? Yes, I would. I really like the look of that Havertz, and I think it's going to be a guy who's going to get better and better. Josh says, do you know if Abba is, I think he's saying staying, but can't tell us? I don't know. He put a post on his, I was looking at it earlier. Let's see if I can find it, right? To say exactly what he said. It was on his Instagram earlier, Aubameyang. And he had like this little thing on it. Is it here? It's not opening now. I'm trying to open it, but he put something on it. No, it's not opening now. But he put something like on it, like, I'm working on it. But then it showed him in the gym. So I don't know if he meant I'm working on it as in I'm working on it in the gym, or am I working on it to sort this contract out? I really don't know. There's lots of little subliminal things going around at the moment. Best passionate video from AFTV, I would say Chris Hudson, and I'd agree. That was a brilliant, one of my favorite all-time videos, that of Chris Hudson. Alexander says, does all your family support Arsenal? And would you like to see Henry or Vieira as a manager of Arsenal? Would love to see that in the future, Henry or Vieira as managers. And do my family support Arsenal? Yes. It's Arsenal or the door. Do you think Arsenal are missing a player like Coquelin? Well, I thought that player that would be better than Coquelin would be Torreira. For some reason, he just doesn't seem to get consistent game time. You know what I mean? I really like Torreira. Let's see him get a. I want to see him get a full season, week in, week out. I really do. Chucky says, will you ever let your beard grow, Robbie? Do you know what, right? I was, it's at the start of the year, I started to grow beard, man, and it itched me so badly. I was like, nah, itches too much, man. I can't take the itching. Chris says, Robbie, if you could sign LeBron James. Huh? Oh, if you could sign LeBron James on a free and a modest wage as a centre-back at Arsenal, would you do it? Love from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, wrong sport, innit? You know what I mean? Although he's got the presence definitely to be a centre-back. And you know what? A guy like him, so talented, he probably, give him the ball, let him practice and that, he probably could do it. He probably could be a footballer, but we want proper footballers, but he is super talented. Taylor says, hi, Robbie. I like your song, Proud to be Black. What people growing up as a youth made you proud to be black. One of my all-time favorites is Muhammad Ali. I absolutely love, he's like, when I look at like role models and when I look at like sporting heroes, Muhammad Ali, 100% for me. George says, if you had to if you had to, would you rather sell Lacazette or Pepe? Well, it would have to be Lacazette because Pepe has just come and we haven't seen the best of him yet. So it would have to be Lacazette. Pepe, I'm convinced he's going to have a good season next year. I really am. He's going to get used to the Premier League and he's going to have a good season. This guy says, Don Robbie on the Ozil overrated thing. I don't think that he was overrated, probably because of Giroud. You see, that was one of the things, you know what I mean? Everybody else gets the blame for Ozil. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's not good enough. Definitely, we've never played Ozil, in my opinion, right. You've got to put, you've got to put defensive midfielders behind him to allow him to play. But even so, I think he's underachieved at Arsenal. I really do. You know what I mean? He's a top player. We've seen flashes and glimpses of it, but he's never consistently, I mean, this guy here says, what do you think of Robert Perez? Outstanding. Robert Perez was consistently good. He's a bit shaky when he first came in, but he was consistently good, season in, season out, where I don't think I can say that for Ozil, that he's been consistently good. Who's the most overrated footballer of all time? Gosh, what, in any club or overrated? I don't know. That's a hard one. What is that of any club, or is that as Arsenal? Arsenal overrated of all time? John Jensen. When we bought John Jensen, he came in, big reputation, didn't live up to it. This guy, the boss, says Declan Rice is overrated. Real Madrid or Barcelona? I don't get into that. Nope, I'm not getting involved in the Real Madrid and Barca thing. You know what? I don't really have being 100% honest, I don't really have a favorite of either of those teams. I'm just like, I look at both teams. They spend a lot of money to get the best players. I would like to see a more even league over there in Spain, if I'm being honest. But I don't favor any of those two teams. I like watching both of them, and they both have great footballers. But Declan says, do you think AFTV's changed the landscape of Arsenal as a club? Well, certainly, we've allowed fans to have their opinions, and their opinions definitely get heard. So I think in a way, yes, it has, it definitely has. Mohammed says, Robbie, where is Ty these days? Now, listen, we've been trying to get this guy on. I was chatting to him last week. I have never met somebody who is so backward when it comes to technology. I've been trying to get the guy on about 3 times, right? He said, yes, I'm coming on, and then he can't get his phone sorted. We're going to try and get him on again next week, but I'm telling you, man, it's like pulling out teeth right now to get this guy on. But we're definitely going to try and get him on one of the news dailies, definitely. But it's hard work, man. Trust me, it's hard work. Ian says, if you could bring back any ex-Arsenal player, who would it be? Well, if I was bringing them back into the team right now, it'd probably be Vieira. Because, we got a goal scorer in Aubameyang. He's not as good as Henry. But I think a Vieira to solidify, or possibly a Tony Adams in defence. One of those two would be most suited to bring back right now. Going to do a few more. How long have we been going? We've about 40 minutes. It's flown past. Absolutely flown past on the Q&A. Kim Kallstrom or Dennis Suarez? Kim Kallstrom, because at least he scored that penalty. Dennis Suarez basically came and did zilch because, he basically bought an injured player. Jack says, and you didn't catch me out with that. I've just seen loads of you trying to catch me out. You can read the name there. You ain't catching me. Yeah, they've been trying all program. They've been trying. Robbie, what's your favourite Arsenal side that didn't win the league since we last won it? The side when we had I forgetting it. Eduardo. When we should have won the league and Eduardo got injured. I enjoyed watching us that year. And I felt very let down that we didn't go out there and just strengthen the team in January. We would have won the league. Those are some of the... I get frustrated even thinking about that. Seki says, Abue or Bellerin? They have to go. Abue was quite he had that one time when, you know, the fans sort of turned on him and he got booed and stuff like that. But, you know, Abue was probably... He probably had a better career at Arsenal. Bellerin's still, you know, he's still got time. But he's still got a lot to prove at Arsenal, in my opinion. Robbie, what do you think about sign language on your videos for persons that are having hearing problems? That would be great. I've never really... I mean, we tried to... you know, the problem that we have sometimes that we're trying to get our videos out so quickly, especially after games, that we're just not able to... We just don't have that facility to get, like, subtitles. Or you've got, like, an automatic sort of... service on YouTube that does subtitles, but it's not accurate. And when you've got a video with somebody like Troops, for instance, it comes out like completely different to what he said. But something we can definitely look into doing in the future, definitely. Diaby without injuries or Wilshere, two very, very talented players that were struck down by injury. Struck down by injury, man. And had it not been for injuries, they could have been two of the best, the very best. I'd have to go Wilshere. Probably go Wilshere, edging it for me. Dre says, where in Jamaica are you from, Robbie? My people come from Waltham Park, Kingston. My parents, my dad was from Kingston, actually, originally. Maxfield Avenue. So you, being from Waltham Park, you know Maxfield Avenue. Pretty rough place. My mum was from Old Harbour. So, and then my dad then moved to Old Harbour as well. So Old Harbour, St. Catherine. But yeah, I know Waltham Park. Yeah, I know they're pretty well. Not a place really to venture into at night time if you're not very familiar with the area. If I'll be kind by saying it that way. And you know what I mean. Right, I'm being asked a few best 11s here, but it's best 11 is going to take too much time to do a best 11. And I've done a few best 11s already. This guy said, Wilshere over Diaby, you lost your mind, Robbie. Listen, Wilshere did more. I mean, Diaby had more injuries, but Wilshere had a lot of injuries, and even I'd say he did more. He did more than Diaby. Diaby, you could see the potential, but I think, you know. Robin says, did you rate Alex Song? I did, actually. I remember when he first... Do you know what? I'll tell you a story of Alex Song. I remember when he first started playing for Arsenal, he played a game against Fulham. Fulham away. I remember that game. And he was terrible. And the fans were getting on his case. So he's giving the ball away so much and stuff like that. And Arsene Wenger actually took him off at half time. I remember being at the game. I remember it so clearly. And then he went out on loan. I think it was to Charlton. Did well there. Came back and he was a different player. And he was a very good player. And I remember he used to have those little... I remember he used to create a lot of assists for Van Persie, those little chipped assists and things like that. So, yeah, I did rate him. He was a little bit, sometimes a little bit too laid back for my likings, you know what I mean? But he was a very talented player. Robert says Clichy was underrated. Yeah, so I don't know if he's underrated. He was rated, man. Brandon said, did you watch the KSI fight? Yeah, I did watch the KSI fight. And I was quite impressed with both of them. You know, to get into the ring and do boxing. The boxing is a thing I used to do back in the day. And to get into the ring and box anybody takes a lot of balls. Trust me, because, you know, you watch a boxing on TV it looks I think it's the hardest sport out there. You know, that boxing and MMA, to me, the two hardest sports you can take up, because first of all, you got to train like a dog to get to a certain level, and you got to be super talented, you got to be strong, you got to be able to take a punch. And then when you get into the ring now, the guy at the other end is looking to knock your head off. He's looking to absolutely batter you. I don't think there's a sport harder where you train as hard as they do, and then, you know, the next person at the other end is looking to kill you. And they don't get great, you know, everybody talks about the money boxers get. At the top end, at the real elite boxers get good money, but the other boxers don't, you know, in comparison to, say, other sports. They don't. So it's such a tough, and the MMA one, oh God, I've been to a couple, man, they're unbelievably tough. Unbelievably tough, man. Both those two sports. So for me, fair play to KSI for getting in the ring. I thought he was unbelievable. Mr. Infant says worst Arsenal injury of all time. Well, there's been a few. Diaby's one was terrible. I remember that one. That was awful. Ramsey's one at Stoke. It's got to be one, or the Eduardo one. We've had so many, man. So many. That's another thing that's dogged us over the years, has been injuries, man. It's just and it's ruined some very, very good players that we've had over the years. Right, I'm going to do two more. Rickin says, did you see Moise Keane from Everton having a party? We spoke about it on this morning show. I'm going to give him a slight pass because he's 20. He's a youth. He's young. He's dumb, obviously. With all what's gone on, to throw a party is absolutely ridiculous. He's going to get a big fine and probably be fined. I think there's a 2 weeks' wages. It's about 100 grand. Utterly stupid. You know, this coronavirus thing is serious. And as a footballer, you stand out there. You know what I mean? People are looking to you as an example. And for what he did, it was absolutely ridiculous. But the only one thing I'll turn around and say is that he's a young kid. He's 20. We forget that sometimes. We forget sometimes how young some of these footballers are. And they make mistakes. I'm hoping that he learns from this. He learns from this mistake that he's made and gets his head down and starts putting his mind to football, because certainly it was absolutely, I mean, I could, you know, to have lap dancers and that around your house in a time like this when everybody else is on lockdown, I thought was pretty dumb by him. Right. Who is going to be the last one? I'm searching to find, you know, because there's quite a few asking similar, you know, swap questions and stuff like that. Let me see. Trying to find one. This is an original one. It's a no-go Kallstrom. I mean, I've already been asked that. All right, you know, that guy, he's asking a good question, but we've already had a couple of questions from him. I'm just trying to find one. I'm trying to find a really original one that I can. Come on, Fabregas or Van Persie. We sort of asked those ones before. Laka or Partey. I've already been asked that one. Favorite African player. I've been asked that one last week. I'm searching around trying to find it. All right, let's do this one as a last one. I just read the start of it. He says, yo, Robbie, I saw you had a program about English football compared to Europe soon on ITV. Can you elaborate, please? Well, That was a documentary that already was on. It wasn't comparing it to Europe. It was about racism in football from a fan's point of view. So it wasn't quite comparing anything to Europe. So not quite sure about that one. Let's get one more. Right, it's just I'm picking it at random. All right, let's do this one. Favorite tennis player. Something completely different, off the cuff. Favorite tennis player. In the women's, Serena Williams. I think what she's done is incredible. Come from, Compton in LA. Not a place where tennis is a regular sport. Their dad taught the Williams sisters how to play tennis, and they've gone on to dominate tennis. That is the original rags to riches story. If you ever need motivation, just go and see what they've done. It's unbelievable. I think when people talk about underrated sports people, I think Serena Williams is the most underrated sports person out there, because from where she's come from, there's no pathway from being in Compton and coming to be in that sport. It's unbelievable. So Serena in the women's, and in the men's, it has to be Roger Federer. He's just, this guy's been around for so long. He's won absolutely everything, and he's still going, and he still looks as young as when he first started playing. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's got to be unbelievably driven to do what he's done. And I just think one of the all-time best sports people ever in any sport has to be Roger Federer. So that's it. Thank you very much for the Q&A tonight. Really, really enjoyed it. Hope you guys had yourself a great weekend. We're going to be back tomorrow morning with the early edition AFTV News Daily at 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, we'll be here. And also we're pumping out the content throughout the week. So keep it locked here on AFTV. Let's hope and pray that we can get some sort of football back. We might start hearing more news about that over the coming week. Obviously, Arsenal players starting to get back into training, even though they're training on their own, but they'll be returning back to London Coney. So that is a sign that things are gradually, slowly starting to improve. And let's hope we can get football back soon. And let's hope, more importantly, we can get over this coronavirus thing. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll be back in the morning.